Hi, Miles. How you doing?
Doing, man? Yo, we made it happen, right?
Yes, it did.
I saw the post you put on your page just now, wishing the lovely lady a happy birthday.
You know, I almost thought that the dates were mixed up, that it was her birthday. She's going to bless us with an interview. So, Tammy, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to spend it.
Oh, goodness. You know, you've, since the 80s, you know, your name has been synonymous with a lot of us. And we barely see you in interviews or anything. So I can tell you that it's a privilege just to be able to see you and actually get to talk to you and stuff.
That's really sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I don't know if yourself or Miles have seen any of the interviews I've done. It's very fan based. You know, we're very curious. We always start from the very beginning, like where you're from, where you were born and raised, and so we just go through a journey.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So where exactly are you from?
Born and raised in Harlem.
Oh, so in New York. Wow.
Yeah, Harlem. And you know, Miles is from Harlem too. Miles and I went to the one of the only I guess privately owned Black schools, you know, when we were young. And that's how it's called School on the Hill in Harlem, in the Sugar Hill area of Harlem, because that's where we're both from. And that's how he and I met. But that's where I'm from, Harlem. Still live in Harlem.
Okay.
Born and raised, my whole family, mom and dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's so much that we who are not American, even though I went to university there and stuff, but Harlem is very synonymous, the Apollo, but it's synonymous with a lot of culture and Renaissance. But music itself, where did you get into music as a child?
Well, you know, my dad was a musician, a drummer, and he played for the Apollo House Band for a time. He played most famously with Dionne Warwick. He had his longest run with Dionne Warwick, but he played with a myriad of other musicians during his time. And I guess that's where it started for me, you know, just being a daughter of a drummer, you know, and you know, I guess some of that fell on me.
Yeah, but I mean, goodness, if that been a drummer, did you listen to any particular type of music growing up as a kid?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, my mom was a huge music lover, so she had a huge record collection, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6, she started taking me to the record store to get whatever records I want, Jackson 5 and, you know, the Silvers and, you know, we had the best of the best then, you know.
And then what about singing? Where did you get a chance to perform when you were young?
Well, I started in church like a lot of people, and the school that I went to was a Lutheran school, so it had a church attached to it.
Oh, I went to a Lutheran school.
That's where I started singing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was the singing at that point just church and just having fun, or did you ever win a vision about trying to make it go forward, come about?
You know, I never did a lot of talent shows. I don't think I did any talent shows in my whole entire life. It's just was a passion with me. My mother realized it very early. She told my dad. My dad had gotten me a tape recorder, and I started recording myself singing against, you know, other records, you know, just studying different Motown music, you know. Like I said, Jackson 5 was huge for me, absolutely huge for me. I mean, that's all I could see, you know, from, you know, elementary years, you know, for a very long time. Yeah, I guess until I got out of elementary school, you know. Jackson 5 were everything to me. So.
Yeah.
But also too, we had so many groups, the 5 Stair Steps, the Silvers. Everybody was good. There was nobody that wasn't good. And that just goes to show you how good the Jackson 5 were, because they didn't come out at a time when nobody was good. Yeah. They came out at a time where everybody was good. Okay. Yeah. And Michael was just special. You know what I mean? Even amongst all of the talent. Listen, I'm so glad I came up in the era I came up in, because It was just music just everywhere, everywhere. Everywhere you went, people played music. There were music on all types of programs. The television, you know, like the theme songs, they were very popular. The commercials were very popular. They had Phoebe Snow and Luther Vandross doing television commercials.
Wow.
I mean, so there was just an enrichment. We had WBLS radio, you know what I'm saying, with Frankie Crocker, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and then I'm from Harlem. When you go outside, there were people playing music in their cars. You know, every place you went, even when you went downtown, they used to have CBS radio in the elevators. You remember, Miles? And 1010 Wins News, they all played music, didn't make a difference, you know what I mean? Whether it was Black music, country music, rock music. I just feel like today we don't, in this society, I feel like music needs to come back and be as important as it was back then. The average person who wasn't even thinking about getting in the music industry knew a song and sang a song or hummed a song. The average person. Today, it seems like only people that are in the industry are into it and a few other people, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to make music like important again, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it just, you know, when you're talking about growing up in Harlem and the music, I just have this, I remember watching Sesame Street and you have the fire hydrant and everyone's playing in the park and listening to music. But so getting into, say, high school, did you think about career-wise, or what was happening for you then?
No, I didn't think career-wise at all. I was just loving music, still studying. You know, my mom let me buy a lot of albums. I bought a lot of Chaka Khan's when I transferred from Michael Jackson. I was in love with Michael so much, you know. And then Chaka Khan came into view. And that was it for me. I was in love with her, and I just started studying everything that all the albums that she did. But then, like I said, there was so many other people. There was Gladys Knight, just a myriad, Natalie Cole. My father, you know, played drums for Dionne Warwick. So, you know, we had her music, Roberta Flack, you know, the greats, you know what I'm saying? Brenda Russell, anybody you could think of, you know what I'm saying? Ashford and Simpson, Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder. Okay, I sound like the thing on WBLS. Remember they used to have that thing on WBLS, and it would name all of the greats: Stevie Wonder, Ashford and Simpson, Roberta Flack, and they would just go down the line of all of the legends. You know what I'm saying? This is the era that I come from. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Did you get to see them though? Because your dad playing for Dionne, did you get to see them?
Yeah, I got to see her when I was small with you know, see my dad. My mom took me a few times, not as many times as I probably, you know, would have liked, but, you know, I did get to see her a couple of times live. And like I say, it just the era alone, you know, Marvin Gaye and all of these fabulous people.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you're calling a list of names who had a very distinct style. So like Dionne Warwick sounds like no one else. If she sang now, everyone would know who her voice was, or Patti or Gladys. I think now, unless they tell you who the artist is, you can listen to a song on the radio and not know, because they all sound all mixed with autotune and very similar beats and everything.
And it seems to be intentional. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't want to just, you know, discover their own uniqueness, you know what I'm saying? But I agree with you, you know, but there are a couple of people that do stand out, you know, young people here and there, thank God, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I guess music just has to go through the journey that it has to go through too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when did the actual bug to say, okay, you know what, I want to actually do this? How did that come out?
You know what? It just kind of happened serendipitously. You know, I began going to the Paradise Garage at a very young age. I was going with a guy, and his brother took us to a new club. You know, I mean, I was already going to clubs, you know, some of the clubs in Harlem World, the Renaissance, the Rennie, 371 in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? Different clubs here and around, but I had never been to the Paradise Garage. And my ex-boyfriend's brother took us one night. We all went, and we went that one night, and that was it for me. It was an instant connection that I knew that this was it. And I tell you, I never went with them again. I began to go on my own with my other friends and stuff like that. And the DJ, the house DJ at the time, period, what am I talking about? Mr. Larry Levan, the maestro, the genius, okay? This guy taught me so much about music. You know, in our time, we listened to music. Like today, they're doing dance routines and they're just doing so much. And it's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. And we danced too. We did a lot of dancing, as a matter of fact. But what I'm saying is that with the radio and times were slower, people took time to listen to music. And then you heard it repetitively, you know, these great Motown tunes and all this stuff. That's why we know the songs, you know. And then you heard it in the club, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or you heard it at the block party, or the boombox was out, you know what I'm saying? So you heard it in the boombox, you know what I mean? Or like Harlem was famous for a lot of bars, you know what I'm saying? It was magical. New York was magical back then, you know, and on a Friday night, people worked all week and, you know, they had songs living for the weekend, you know what I'm saying? On the weekend, people would go to the bar, the local bar in the neighborhood, so that you would hear the music coming out of the bar. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just seemed to be magical for me personally. I don't know about anybody else's experience, but that's how it was for me as a kid, you know? And then, like I said, I started hanging out in the village, going to the Paradise Garage. I actually graduated from the same school that Basquiat graduated from, which is City As School. I went to Martin Luther King for a few years, but then I left there and graduated from City As School, which is in the village, 2 blocks from the Paradise Garage. So I'm saying serendipity. Who can map all this stuff out? You know what I'm saying? I was just going with the flow, living my life. I didn't really have a plan. And my professional career started at the Paradise Garage. From going there, I met one person, another person found out that I sang. A friend of mine, Ernie Kendall, he used to work at a record pool. They had record pools back then. I don't know if you know about that, but it had a lot to do with 12-inch, right? It had to do with 12 inches because they were really big at that time. You know what I'm saying? And different DJs and stuff would get together. You know, it was a place for them to get together, discuss the new 12 inches that had been released, possibly switch or pick up some, get information. It was more to it than that, sort of like a networking thing. But I met him. He told me about Boy Jarvis. I went to Boy Jarvis' house in Brooklyn. One thing led to another. I didn't even realize he was connected with Timmy Regisford, who was a young, fantastic DJ that WBLS had given a shot to so he could come on and do his own thing as a young man. He was so talented, you know. Boy Jarvis was an up and coming young producer, you know what I mean? They were doing like new stuff that other people wasn't doing, you know what I mean? And I try to tell you, I didn't map it out. God just led my steps and I just went. I mean, it really, because when I think about it, if I had to think about it, it's like, I couldn't have made it up myself. So I met him. One thing led to another. We did the first song, Hey Boy, that came out. And that started my professional career. My first song, Hey Boy, on Supertronic Records. Frederick Pereira was the owner of the record company, you know, and he was a Black man. And that's how it got started.
So because I know Tim Regisford from some early Guy and New Edition and MCA and stuff. But what did they try and get you to do? Did they get you just to sing or to write? Or was it like, yeah, we'd like your voice, come and be on this record? What was that?
What do you mean when I got to Guy?
No. The song that your first song, what did they tell you to do? Did they tell you just to sing on it, or did they say we're trying to work on, collaborate on it?
Well, you know what, actually, I had gotten together with Boyd, and he had it, you know, he had the track at his home. And I did, you know, like some ad libs or whatever, melody ads, because that's what I do, melodies and lyrics. But I don't think I had like a whole bunch of lyrics that day. I think I just probably had Hey Boy. And I just did some, you know, ad libs and stuff like that. So, you know, we just kind of vibed that day. And then Timmy Regisford was going to have, I believe, his sister or his cousin write the song. Okay. And that didn't really work out. She wrote the song and it didn't really work out. And then I ended up writing it.
Because you could write, or how?
Well, actually, I had been writing stuff before, just like on my own.
But did it come natural to you to be able to start writing those early days?
It did, because as I said, you know, after studying so much music, you know, and I did, you know, try to write a couple of things on my own that I had recorded, and, you know, just melodies and lyrics and stuff like that, because I wasn't working with any producers, you know what I mean? So I didn't have any tracks submitted to me at that time.
Yeah, but then when you write, do you just write the lyrics, or do you play the piano or the guitar to have the music as well?
No, I don't play any instruments. It's just my voice and just me. And although my mother sent me to Harlem School of the Arts to take theory and piano, it didn't work out. The only thing that worked out was the voice class, you know, because I just didn't have the attention span for it at that time. So I ended up never learning to read music. You know, like my father, I learned music by ear.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I write, I just take the music, the track, and I just, you know, kind of go to myself and play it, and whatever comes up first. Sometimes a melody comes up first. Sometimes a melody and the lyric comes up. Sometimes the lyric just comes up first. You know, it just works how it works.
Yeah. So those early days after that particular track with Timmy Regisford, what did that lead to?
Well, I did a couple of they call them TV track dates, where you just, you know, you don't have a band or anything. They play the TV track, and it was at a bunch of clubs. I played the Paradise Garage, as a matter of fact, 2 nights there. And then I believe I did Zanzibar and a couple of other clubs, you know, around the tri-state area. And after that, I just didn't do anything for a little while. And then I met someone and they told me about Uptown Records.